Today we're going to be looking at 6 ways to improve your brewing experience from home. Today we're going to be using the Breville Barista Pro and our new blend, which is the Springtime. Alright, so tip number 1, we're going to be using a scale. Why we're using a scale is to control all the variables in coffee. So we now know how much coffee is going in and how much we're actually getting out of it. This way we're going to get the best tasting coffee. So with the Breville Barista Pro, it comes with a built-in grinder. Now the problem that we see with the built-in grinders is when you have it completely filled to the top with beans, one, you're going to have stale coffee built up in there if you don't take it out every day. Number 2 is that the burrs kind of jam and it becomes a bit of an issue with your machine. So how you solve that is by single dosing with a scale. So we've got our dosing cup, tear that off, and what we're looking for is 17 grams in, with the yield being 32 to 34, which is a 1:2 ratio. And we're also going to be looking for 28 to 32 seconds out. Now you want to take your portafilter out, making sure that it is nice and hot. And we're going to tear that off. This way we know exactly how much coffee comes out. With the grinding is really need to work out how long you need to grind for. With these machines, you have the grinder built in. You have the ability to move how long you grind for and how fine or coarse you go. So what I'll show you, that's our grind, how it's all over the top, that's perfect. What you want to do is you want to move it around. This is one method of distribution, which is just moving the grinds around until you get a nice even bed on top. There's the other method is tapping. Have your built-in tamper on the side, and you're going to come in on a 45-degree angle and make a nice flat tamp and a little swivel. Clean off any of the edges, and there you have your tamped espresso. If you do want to upgrade, there is a really cheap alternative, which is this little guy here. Now what this allows you to do is one side has a distributor and on the other side is a tamper. And using this is foolproof. So literally grab on the side, you grab your distribution side and you put it on top. This way you're going to swivel to the right 3 times. Now your bed is completely flat. Turn it over to your tamping side, put it on top, high pressure, swivel it again, and there you go. You have a completely flat bed of coffee. So now that we have our tamped coffee, we're going to put that into our portafilter. Now, we want to grab our cup and our scales, and we're going to put them underneath. We're going to hold down the double shot button, which is going to do a manual pour. And now we're going to do a 4-second pre-infusion. We're going to let off, and that's going to start the full bar of pressures. So what we're looking for is about 28 to 32 seconds with a yield of 32 to 34, which is going to give you a 1:2 ratio. Now remembering that you are now doing a manual pour, so that you need to remember that when you get to your yield, you need to turn off your button, so press it in again. Alright, so we've just finished our extraction, and we've got 30-second extraction with 32 grams out, which is exactly what we're looking for. So the next tip we're looking at is water quality. So with the Breville, it does come with a couple of little filters for your water. So that looks after all the water you get out of your tap. How you can improve that is using filtered water. We have a full series on water quality on our channel, which I will link in the description below, and that will go through how to get the best water you can for your machine. Alright, so now moving into our final tip, which is going to be talking about milk texturing. So the most common thing we see is people not being able to get enough texture in their milk, and so you end up having really flat milk. Or you also see the complete opposite, where you have so much foam that when you pour it in, you can't get any latte art, which kind of is the most fun part about brewing at home, is being able to, practice your little bit of latte art and to enjoy your amazing coffee. So today we're going to be working with full cream milk, as it is the easiest to stretch with your milk. Now we're going to fill our pitcher up to just underneath the little spout. Now coming over here to our steamer, we're going to turn it on and we're going to let out any of that water that's been built up in there. It may take a couple of seconds before we get our steam. Alright, there we are. So we're going to be putting it in our milk jug and we're going to put it on a slight angle. And we're going to want to let in a lot of air at the start. Like we were saying, it has quite a small boiler and it takes quite some time. But what you want to be doing is letting a lot of air in. Now we're steaming, we've let in all our air. And now we're just getting that whirlpool motion happening until we get up to temperature. Now we're really just looking to get until our jug is too hot to touch. Then we're going to turn off our steamer, pull it out, and we're going to give it a nice wipe to clean off any of our excess milk. So there we go, we have our textured milk and we have our shot. So the next thing we're going to look at is pouring. I'm going to teach you the most basic pattern to pour at home, which is going to be the heart. Now we're going to swirl our milk and our espresso, and we're going to pour it on a 45-degree angle, and we're going to pour it from a greater height into the center, and we're going to put it in a bit of an anti-clockwise motion until we get to 3/4 full. We're going to stop, we're going to bring our pitcher as close as we can to the camera, and we're going to just pour straight to the middle, pull up, and then pull through. And there you have a heart. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let's just have a little quick recap on what we learned today. So our tip number 1 was using a scale. Now using a scale, like we said, was to control all variables in coffee. Our tip number 2 is single dosing instead of using a full hopper, especially with our home machines that have the built-in grinder. We said that when you're using the full amount of coffee beans filled up to the top, it does jam the beans. Tip number 3 was tamping. So we talked about, how it comes with the standard tamp and how you can upgrade to the 2-in-1, which has the tamp on one side and the distributor on one side. This is basically foolproof. We'll link this one in our description below. Now tip number 4 was water quality. Now we talked about how the Breville comes with the filters and how we can also get our own filtered water. And we talked about how you can go to the link in our description to look at our full series on water quality. Tip number 5 was extraction times and looking at, so we knowing exactly what we're getting in and out of our coffees. So we knew that we wanted 28 to 30 seconds. We wanted to go 17 grams in with around 32 to 34 out, which is a 1:2 ratio. Tip number 6, which is our final tip, was milk texturing. So we looked at how to texture with a home machine that doesn't have as much power in the steam versus the commercial machine. I hope all our tips helped today, and if they did, please consider giving it a like. Comment in any questions. If you're having any problems with the machine at home, please comment in and we'll give our best to get back to you as quick as we can. Subscribe and turn on your notification bell. When you turn on your notification bell, you get notified every time we post a video or we go live or we post it on any social media. If you haven't already, please turn the notification bell on. We post every Wednesday. And if you haven't already, please follow us on social media. We're also on TikTok, so check over there. Everything is linked under Wolff Coffee Roasters. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.